We just fixed that. Hello, welcome to That's One Gamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to the whatever show this is there anymore. This is Josh Diffey, everyone. Hey, Josh,
how are you
you
doing? I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm great. Thank you very much. I have been... There's so much to unpack. I've missed you loads. There's loads to talk to you about. We intentionally didn't catch up in the pre-show because we've got so much that we want to talk about on air.
It was a bit... Yeah. I got halfway through saying, no, I'll dance off.
Yeah, I'll dance. I'll dance for stonks. That's what I'll do. I'll dance for the day that turnip farmers destroyed the economy. Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah. Don't forget, everyone, money isn't real. No one cares. Those are all important things. Thanks, Glorious Chan, for subscribing. Thank you to everyone for joining us live. Big love to you, Bobbin, Stu Flynn. I see you all. Hey, sorry again, Warhammer TV intern. Big love seeing you in the chat as always, doing the work that we all need. So yeah, are you well? How's things?
Yeah, I'm doing well. We've just come off some pretty big events for 40K down in Oz because we're doing pretty good with the the thing.
Vovo.
Yeah, that thing. So yeah, we've started to pick up some events, and we ran I say we. I stayed at home. There was an event called Uprising Adelaide on our long weekend, our Australia Day weekend, our public holiday for when the British came and took over the country, and it was awesome. There was 96 players, I think,
wow.
all said and done, and my man Matt, the Plague Hulk Morrisoli, took it out with chaos. It was awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, no, there's loads and loads and loads and loads to unpack there, right? Because you guys live streamed it. We're going to talk about that in detail, which is going to be super fun. I'm going to probably gush over Adam Camilleri one more time. I don't know if you guys listened on Tuesday, but
I did.
I didn't hold back. Is the truth. And then there's loads of stuff in the background, which actually, if you've ever done any live streaming or been involved in it, there's actually loads of background stuff, which the background guys never get enough love for, which Josh will have done a lot of the background stuff. Yeah. And
I will admit that, that the last two streams we've done, I think, maybe more, but definitely at least the last two, the announcing team, so Nick Standing from Queensland and Adam from Victoria, have been doing most of the on-camera or mic stuff, and I've been doing all the bobbing, getting all the stuff, beep bop, boop bop, boop bop, getting it all working. Because we are doing the only other person I know of that's really pulled it off is looking at me right now. But we were doing multi-streaming.
Multi-table coverage is what you're saying.
Multi-table coverage, yes. Yeah. So we
MTC.
have been doing 4 tables, but this event we only did 3 because it wasn't actually at any of our locations, and there was only so many things we could get on a plane.
Yes.
Well,
welcome to all of my life.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can do this. Yeah.
Every 5 minutes, though, because I had it playing through the home speakers to make sure it all was going well. But every now and then, it's just getting. I was gushing. Adam and Nick were very kind.
Yeah.
To myself. But yeah, I reckon, all things considered, I've probably put in probably as much time into prepping for streams as I have in actually streaming the events themselves. I mean, the weekend was 4 days, 8 rounds in the main, 3 rounds in the invitational. A total of 24 actual tables were streamed. A ton of hours were streamed, and it was. But yes, to make sure it was smooth, and because I don't know if you know this, Mr. Adam Camilleri, while a fantastic caller, and Nick Standing, also a magnificent man, and and shoutcaster or announcer or commentator, whatever other buzzword you want to throw in there, they are both rubbish with technology.
It's always the way. It's always the way. I once have had Benjamin Sava and Darren Watson doing live coverage with me. That'll mean very little to you, yeah? But Benjamin only, I think, last year got a phone last year. And I'm not 100% certain it's even a smartphone, yeah? And Darren, still to this day, even having sent him a microphone and a camera, I'm just going to say I'm not going to say he's 100% the best. Let's just put it that way.
Get a flip phone. Get a flip phone? Yeah.
He's just MMSing me. It's like, look at this picture. I'm like, it's cost me 50p. Get off. I understand the feels. I'd like to ask you loads and loads about the weekend. Before you do, there's a couple of things that I've got to ask because the Twitch chat want to know. And because it's the new thing I'm always going to ask my guests, which I think is really important. And that is... first question is, and the only question, is what are your 2 Warhammer Stonks? I don't know if you've been keeping up with our Warhammer Stonks show. So on our Monday show and our Thursday show, you know how you have a lot of podcasts are the same, right? You start with the news, you see how the guests are, then you get onto the main subject of the show, that sort of jazz, right?
Yeah. We've
now included a new section in the show, which we've been doing for a couple of weeks, the Warhammer Stonks. So those are units that you would sell now because you think that they're going to depreciate in value in the future, and units that you will buy now because you think that they're going to go up in value in the future. I'm going to give you a little moment to think about it. I'm going to just say hello to everyone in the chat. Like Wap92, Owen, big love. Saw him on 1 week last night. Lekka 69. Yes, Nathan Prescott. Big love. And will I be applying for the Games Workshop presenter role? Probably not.
No.
I saw it and I thought, even though I live on jam sandwiches and I've been wearing the same dungarees for 8 weeks, I still don't want whatever the pay increase would be to 18 grand or whatever the hell they'll pay, way below industry standard. So what are your stonks there, Diffy? What you got?
Oh, so the what is it? Shorting is when it's going to depreciate in value, is what I'm hoping for. Is that what we're going with here?
Yeah. So
right,
so
cool.
You want to sell
so
something that you think is going to depreciate? Yeah. Who are you shorting?
Okay. I reckon. How long does it take to depreciate? Or am I overthinking this? I'm really overthinking this, aren't I? Deathwing Terminators.
You're going to sell them now?
Sell them now.
Okay, Deathwing Terminators.
I reckon they're at their peak.
Can we get a reason as to why?
Well, I think they're at their peak, and they're about to get a new book. I reckon they might get a bit of a nerf hit for being too strong. So yeah, I reckon they'll get battered a bit. That's my thoughts.
Okay, that's a serious one. I completely appreciate that. That's a good stonk. So that's what you're going to sell. What are you going to buy? What do you think's going to appreciate in value over time?
Oh, Vespid? No, kidding. I reckon Beasts of Nurgle.
Beasts of Nurgle.
Yeah.
Beasts of Nurgle. Buy now. Are there loads knocking around in the in the environment?
No. They were in the list that won on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt Morrisoli has been running them, and Dan Savage from Queensland ran them quite successfully as well. And I think with the fact that so many places in the world aren't getting enough 40K right now, whereas Australia is starting to, we're an island, we're isolated over here now, and our events are starting up again. A lot of people are going to be watching what's happening down here, and Beasts of Nurgle, I think, will go up.
Oh, okay. So some big stonks. Beasts of Nurgle are good but expensive in cash money, so sorry again. Yeah, no, all good. We're getting some suggestions. Poxbringers buy now. I think that's interesting. Nikki DeWilliams says, good call out on the Deathwing Terminators. So if you are sat on some, maybe get them up quickly on a sell site. I think that'll be really interesting. Oh, and there's apparently right on cue, some sort of published article live now about
way.
Deathwing Terminators.
No way.
That's a good call. Wow, you're little.
So do I have to read it, or can someone in the chat tell me was it a good call? Like, have they been nerfed, or was it a horrible call? And they've just got some ridiculous buff again. So now they also have all the Mortarian rules as well.
Hold on. Terminators secure objectives with new Deathwing rules for Dark Angels. They have objectives secured.
Okay, well, they probably just got better. So hey, I mean, apparently I'm going to lose billions of dollars.
You just got hedge funded. Oh
hedge funded.
Oh, the problem is you're eating too much avocado. You need to stop that. That's
mate,
yeah.
That is the problem with the youth of the
of not even the
avocados. Avocados.
All right, well, thanks for playing in the Stonks. Little side project I'd like to talk to you about later is you and me making some sort of Stonks Warhammer website. I think it would be hilarious. Not sure how much it would take to make, but think how hilarious that would be with the... Yeah, now fire it through your brain. Yeah, some sort of like...
So are you actually thinking legitimately a buy, swap, sell, basically...
No,
site?
But just a suggestion site. Zero actual like ability to do those things through the site.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just
and then I'll be interested to see then
a fake stock
what the
site
market value goes to them then. Like, are we actually gonna have to keep track of the market value in the buy, swap, sell pages?
Yeah, somehow.
That seems like a lot of effort. That seems like although
there's got to be some way to automate it.
We can find someone else to do it for us. The legwork. We're the brains. We're the brains. Someone else can do the grunt work.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyone who'd like to help us with our buy, sell, stonks Warhammer website, please do let us know.
I'll give you 15 credits on the
on the site. Yeah,
on the site. What
can
you buy with these credits?
I have a current stonk suggestion as well. If you want to hear it, it's very specific.
Come at me.
It's sell any Warhammer miniatures you have, buy resin. That's really now my only kind of like full-time stonk. Someone sent me a picture of a full knight he just printed out earlier, and I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that, are we? This is where we're going. And also of, you know the ladies that got shown on Monday? The sisters in the armor suits? Yeah. One of them.
Already done.
Already done. Out of a printer.
Yep.
I was like...
I've been saying this for quite some time. The Warhammer previews, the issue we have now with Warhammer previews, or I say we, I mean I'm not affected, but the issue that Games Workshop now has with the Warhammer previews is legitimately they put out a preview, and before the model is at a shop, before you can physically buy it, someone has already copied it, done their own 3D modeling of it, and printed it. Like,
it's fucked. Someone in the chat, it looks just as good. It's fucked is the only description. So anyway, I'm sure everyone at Games Workshop can just stop eating avocados and they'll be fine. Right, so let's talk about streaming, because that's the important part.
Bring it.
And then we could talk about, there's a little bit of clickbait for you guys. There's also a great couple of drama stories coming both from Diffey and me after this section. Don't know what Diffey's is, I know what mine is. So we got some hot goss, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So you guys, so the Art of War 40k Down Under is what Diffey previously of just like Down Under Network, like you guys like affiliated with Nick and the guys, right? That's what happened.
Yep.
Affiliated.
That's pretty much exactly what happened. Yep.
Okay, sweet. And then you after that, you guys have like integrated and worked really closely together, which is super cool. And then and you also run Down Under Pairings, but Down Under Pairings also integrated with BCP, so you also do that as well.
Yeah, I wear a lot of hats. So yes, so it was March 2020. Or thereabouts, when it was official, that yes, Best Coast Pairings and Down Under Pairings merged. For I mean, the two systems are still they're separate systems, but joint. Basically, I'm now the web developer for or primary web developer for Best Coast Pairings, and I brought a whole bunch of features from Best Coast Pairings. Sorry, Down Under Pairings into Best Coast Pairings, like live scorecards, and a whole bunch of really cool tech that allows
just in case I don't know what they are. Please tell me what live scorecards are.
So. Basically, the way it works is I wrote a web page effectively that reads a funky file and renders or displays a custom scorecard. So it'll have, for example, a bunch of drop-down boxes for 15, 0, 5, 10, 15 for the primaries. There'll be drop-downs for all the secondaries, etc. So think paper scorecard with all the detail, but on your phone. And as you update the scorecard, it is live updating Best Coast Pairings. So what that means is as someone is scoring their game at the table, someone like myself or yourself or anyone else who's streaming 40K, their overlays can get the updated scores.
Pretty integral.
Pretty cool.
Integral. Yeah, and that doesn't seem very relevant to any of you guys. Like now, why do I give a shit about that? And obviously, it's relevant to someone like me who does streaming of events and Diffy, and people who do streaming of events. But actually, it's quite cool because you're able to obviously track how games are going, like just through a web page, which is also fun if you're someone who likes it's like getting the footy updates. Really, like you get to see them on your phone, and that's a super fun feature, and is super useful. Also, really useful if you are at large events. And you do want to track a lot of data and you want to put it into like a different data set and you want to have a conversation about it at events, which is something previously at events that we've never really been able to like ultimately achieve. It's always been like someone like Owen or Adam running or Tom running around these events that I've streamed and just kind of giving us anecdotal information as it's going. And something that we would have been discussing about using deploying very heavily at the WTC, like if it was like going forward this year, still not sure whether it is or isn't, obviously, but definitely not for you guys. You guys aren't allowed to travel over, are you?
No, we can travel.
But is it 2 weeks? It's 2 weeks either side, though, isn't it?
So basically, you have to get a COVID test before you get on a plane, and then whatever the rules are on the other end are whatever they are on the other end. But then coming back, you've got at your own expense 14 days hotel quarantine. So basically you land, you get in a bus, that bus takes you to a hotel and you stay there for 14 days.
Okay, so it's not cheap is the answer.
Oh no, it's not cheap. Now, things may change. Obviously, vaccines are starting to roll out. We'll have to wait and see what that, what that actually looks like and how that affects things. But a work colleague of mine had to rush home to see some family in India just before Christmas, and he's back in the country now in a hotel for 14 days. Yeah.
Little side note, if anyone's interested, an amazing film that you guys could check out is a film called White Tiger about India, which I watched over the past few days. Had on in the background while I was doing some terrain painting. Excellent little film. Oh, some Captain Morgan, lovely.
Captain Morgan.
So obviously
Diffy's
Diffy's in Australia. Obviously, if I haven't mentioned that, or you guys are just catching up with that now. All right, sweet. So. That's cool. So there's lots of integration, and Diffy basically is kind of like a little engine that can, behind the scenes of like a huge portion of like how events, when they do happen, will integrate with your screens, but also with your like practical live. So BCP, obviously for tournament organization, and then also the live coverage stuff. Not only obviously done by the Art of War 40K Down Under. It's a mouthful. I'm just going to say it.
Art of War.
Okay, Art War. So the Art War guys, how they present stuff. So that's going to be important. But how they integrate together, which I think is genuinely really interesting, as you can see in the background there. And if you do want to go back and watch some of those videos from this weekend, you guys can go and watch it on the Art of War YouTube channel, I think is, and then also the Art of War 40k Down Under Twitch channel, which is super worthwhile.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, we kind of split the stream over the weekend. The invitational, Adam words per minute Camilleri was actually playing in the invitational, and so we had some lovely gentlemen from a podcast called The Normal Blokes. Mm-hmm. They're awesome. Denise and Luke, they're great guys, and really they're quite good at commentating the games. One issue though we had was in Australia we are quite we don't mind dropping a few foul language words here and there.
You just got a fucking great bunch of good cunts in your fucking community. Is that what you're telling me?
Mate, something like that. But since joining Art of War, we've really tried to tone that back, because apparently, all right, the US, they don't like the word cunt.
And to be fair, maybe most of us shouldn't use it, because it's like, there's a whole conversation about the misogynistic use of that word in our common parlance, which is a very valuable conversation. Although I do love a good inflection, and I do love a good statement backed up by a swear word. Yeah, go Diff.
Yeah. But on that, like, you've got to take into consideration the context of its usage. I mean, we literally turn any word into a dual meaning word, like with the right inflection, as you said. You can call someone a mate in so many different tones, and it either means you're about to kill the guy, or you love the guy or girl.
Yeah, I mean, mate's like a genuine fighting word in England sometimes. You what, mate? Is like, let's go. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I don't know if I use mate in a friendly capacity at all. Thinking it through. So yeah, good point. So you did you guys struggle with this at the weekend? Is that a point?
Well, no, kind of. So we knew that we were the Art of War stream team. So Adam and Nick have been effectively. I'm not even kidding. Practicing isn't the right word. Really focusing on the last streams. Recent streams, to not swear. And because the Art of War team weren't streaming it, we were having other people stream it. We weren't comfortable vouching for them to stream on the Art of War proper channel. Sorry, Luke, Denise, but you did actually swear during the stream, so it was a good call. So yes, but when the big boys came to town, Adam and Nick, they went on the Art of War YouTube channel, and it was off the chain. It was so good. If you haven't watched it, go straight to round 8. Like, straight to round 8. It is shit hot.
Okay, good. All right, fun. Yeah, you guys should go check that out.
And then go back and watch the other one.
Yeah, I can't advocate for it enough, other than the fact that they've got the commentators on the screen, which is the start of this fight. Let's go. You wanted it on Tuesday. Ding ding. Go on.
You might make your case. You might end up winning it. Look. I said you might end up winning it. We have. Bring it. No. So we have periodically, and part of our issue is that we have polled our Facebook page, so people who already like us. So it's not really an unbiased group. But we've specifically asked the question, hey, do you want us to make more real estate and take our faces off? Or do you want us to stay on there? And it has been overwhelming every single time we bring it up to keep us on there. And it's been hard to then, after directly asking the people who, support us, give us money through Patreon, and then after they all say stay on there, go, oh yeah, but we're going to take it off. So I think we've kind of got ourselves in a bit of a predicament here where we're trying to please our loyal supporters, but potentially, and I hear your points, there is a possibility that we are losing opportunities of new loyal fans because, I don't know, if you're watching it on a phone and, I don't know, and it's not half the screen, but the table isn't taking up as much, it is harder to see. So as I said, we've spun it around constantly, trying to work out where it might sit. I think where we're kind of sitting at the moment is that we'll have when we go to the screen, and this is one of the things that's really been great about having multiple tables to cover, is we have a scene where we have all the tables, and they're small. They're obviously small because you're getting 3 or 4 tables on the one screen. But one of the things we were thinking about is actually on that scene maybe having us, and then you see us talk about which table we're going to go to next. So still bringing the that connection, I guess, to the audience. And to your point, you are right. Most sports presentation or sports presenters, you don't see their face. At least you don't see it all the time.
No, so
but they will often.
So the system we always operated is obviously like I always had a commentator cam. I mean, even when I was in like a working man's club, I'm not sure if you have them over there because your country's not old enough, but it's like a derelict building where miners once drank beer that cost 40p. Even when we're in that and like our backdrops are awful, yeah, like I would always have a commentator cam, so we would switch over to those guys, which would invariably sometimes be me. We'd have like a chat, like we'd jump back, and I think like jumping around those scenes is really important. It's just on-screen retail. I think that's the only conversation I would have, because otherwise, obviously, presentation was excellent. I think like the display was really good. I liked loads of the assets that you did. I obviously much prefer multi-table coverage. I've been a big proponent of that for a long time. So like I think all of that is excellent. That's an only criticism on something that's absolutely brilliant. Like, and it's great to see. Like I said twice in the past 2 weeks, I've just sat watching Warhammer, which has been amazing for me because it's taken a long time. It's taken a long time for me to get there. I was watching your stream. I was watching the Failed Charge guys doing the Age of Sigmar stuff from GoldCon as well. So I was really enjoying that. So like it's been brilliant to watch people actually like developing this stuff while I'm just sat in this little box room waiting. One day.
I like Dave Fraser's compromise in the chat. So instead of having our faces on a camera, we get all of the commentators' team's faces on objectives, the neoprene objectives, and then put them on the table, and then win. That
works for me.
Cash money.
That works all day. People love that shit.
Stonks. We'll sell that.
Have the objectives as a green screen is the worst idea I've ever heard. I also, and I can't express this enough, loathe. I'm going to tell you now, loathe any branded objective circles. I think they're fucking dog shit. Like, and I will go to town on this forever. Yeah, I'll if I have to, whenever events walk back, I'll walk along rows. I'll be like, they look shit. Next table, I'll say, they look shit. I'll do it a whole tournament to every single they look awful. Like, I don't have, and who cares? Like, who cares? Like, if you're like on the Art of War 40k stream, yeah, like I know what I'm seeing.
So one of the things we used to do when, of course, we were just rolling in this like streaming cash, that you make from streaming these events, which you do not. But we would actually periodically give out objectives. So one of the it's a brand awareness thing. So there's a lot of people who go to tournaments that don't know it's 40k gets streamed, and so. It's the whole having, it's the other same reason I wear a branded T-shirt in every single event I go to, because I want people to know, except you're not wearing one now. Well, that's kind of on brand. That's kind of on brand. That's a lie. That is a lie. I've seen your streams. I do. Shirts.
Yeah, we have TSN shirts. They look pretty nice. Yeah, they look pretty nice.
Yeah. They're pretty schmick. But one of the things that we have been discussing actually since we've been doing multi-stream or multi-table streaming is instead of having our beautiful faces is having one of the other tables so as people can see, potentially, like we've got a lot of ideas. Make the scorecard smaller, actually have 3 tables down the side, big one in the middle, and people can actually kind of see, the people in the chat can go, table 3 is going into the combat phase or whatever, and we can jump on over. Kind of the reason we've always had it, I think, A, audience has specifically asked for it, and B, 40K when you're streaming a single table has lulls. Like it does. There are parts of the game that are not exciting to watch, and you need to fill it. Now, Mr. Adam Camilleri can fill air. He can fill dead air. He's just the words just. Yeah, the best nickname. I think it was John Damaris from Art of War podcast had him on and hadn't heard him on anything before. All right, and he was just Adam was just going ballistic with his just speaking 100 miles an hour. That's what Australians do.
That is brilliant. I mean, like we're going to talk about this like more in the years to come. And you guys in the chat and me, we're all going to have this conversation. But having good presenters is useful. And I don't see that as like a threat or anything scary. I was the first one to big up Adam on Tuesday. And I'll big up anyone who does any presenting anytime. Like Gemma from the Fail Charge, Vince when we had him on, like Tom, Nick. I think like having good presenters and developing good presenters is something that I'm super passionate about. And it doesn't mean just me. And Diffey will be able to vouch for this because we've had this conversation behind the scenes loads. So super important. So look, I'm really excited for what. Go on. Sorry.
I was just going to 100% agree to your point. I mean, obviously, I come from a group who stream events. If streaming events was competitive, and we did, we wanted to be better than the other streamers, why would I, for free, offer the same stream assets that we use? It's the exact opposite. It's the same thing with competitive 40K in general, and I'm sure with Age of Sigmar and other games. There's this kind of stigma that people think that you can't play nice, but at the top echelon, people, they get along, and better than that, they, I might come up with something and you go, that's a good idea. And then you kind of take that and you do something more with it. And I go, wow, I can't believe you did that. I'm going to steal that idea. And it's everyone gets better.
Yeah. Because ultimately, and I've said this time again, my personal only singular crusade is that live stream Warhammer is what I think it always could be, a sport that's as entertaining as any other sport. Because I think it's that good. And so I think that's going to be a bit of the future. I really do. So yeah, you guys can go check all that out because I think that's unless there's anything else you want to add on to that. You think? Nah. Okay. Because I want to hear the gossip because there's some gossip from Diff that I want to hear because it sounds great and I've been waiting 40 minutes. I've held on so long for this. Tell me the gossip.
So, all right, I've got to give a couple of pre-gossip warnings. All right, okay. Everyone in the chat, put your seatbelt on because this is a wild fucking ride. All right, there are lots of twists and turns. I'll try and keep you all on the straight and narrow with this story. I'm also not going to name the real name of the person who did it because, drum roll, I'm suing the fucker. No.
Okay, so Diffey is suing someone. Yes. Is how good this gossip is. Please continue.
So there was Neil Kerr. This is the fake ITC guy.
Don't blow the lead. Don't blow the lead. Build it up for us. I'm excited.
Mate, that's not the... Look, I could tell you the end result and the journey. The journey is where it's at.
Let's take it. Yeah.
So, for those... we've already discussed, I wear a lot of hats in Warhammer 40,000. One of them is a hat at Best Coast Pairings. I'm the Australian ITC representative, which doesn't really mean much. It's more of just an admin role. People submit tokens for their events to the ITC. If they're in Australia, I check that they are real events, and I approve or reject the tokens. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have any actual power. So if, I can't say, oh, your event wasn't worthy. All right. If it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't. It's pretty simple. Okay. So there was, for those who don't know Australia, it's pretty big with population spread out in pockets. There is a territory called the Northern Territory. We are very creative with the names of our states and territories in Australia. We have Western Australia, South Australia, the Northern Territory, and the capital of our country is in, wait for it, the Australian Capital Territory. Anyway, so,
pretty literal people. Pretty literal people.
Yeah, one of the worst snakes in our country is a red belly black snake. You can guess why it's called that.
Okay, I'm into this. Yeah.
Anyway, so the Northern Territory has had no 40k tournaments since I've been playing 40k. Okay, so it's predominantly rural Aboriginal communities. There are some cities. There are some cities up further north, and Alice Springs is quite large as well. But think predominantly desert. That most of Australia is desert, and most of that is in the Northern Territory. So not a huge population dense place.
Yep.
Yes, we'll go off on tangents. Why not? The Northern Territory had a tourism campaign, and I shit you not. All right, it was see you in the NT, Northern Territory, and the letter C and U. Yep, cunt. Anyway, that's there were shirts, bumper stickers, the whole lot.
Oh my god!
Anyway,
brilliant.
So there was this dude, and let's introduce Roger Miller. Not a real person. He submitted some tokens before his events and said, "Hey, I'm running these events in the Northern Territory, and we're using them to grow our community." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, awesome. That is like right on. That's my jam. Like getting 40k to the masses is awesome. So the tokens were approved. I had literally no reason to believe they were fake events. We fast forward about a month. These events have all happened apparently, and someone brings it to my attention that in this rural community with a population of 294, just 294.
294. Right. So not 294,000, 294 people.
294 people.
Okay.
All right, less than 300. All right, they had an event of 60 players.
Wow.
I mean, that's a pretty good percentage of a population base. And so that then was highlighted that all of these events were won by the same person, also fake. And so, all right, it's all starting to look pretty sus here. Okay. And I get contacted and basically given a list. So there is a website that you can go to. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but basically it's for fictional writers. So people are doing nonfiction stories, and it's a bunch of names. So there'll be like, if you wanted to do a story in Russia, there'll be a list of all these Russian names you can use, and there's a list of Aboriginal names.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it had a bunch of list of names, and I blew the important point there. The important point was, sorry.
Pretty much all the names that were registered for these events were on this list.
Good. So copy-pasted from a website. Perfect.
Yep. So all looking relatively sus at this point. Mm-hmm. So I then put on my ITC rep hat, and I simply email the guy and say, "Hey, been brought to my attention. There's some warning lights here. It doesn't look like these events actually happened. Basically, can you please? Sorry, so I've rejected your tokens, but if you can provide some proof that these events did happen, then I'll of course reinstate the tokens and basically sorry for the misunderstanding."
And the loss of the tokens means what? Sorry.
That those events they no longer went towards rankings.
Okay. All right, perfect.
So this person was ranked number 1 in the South Pacific,
Okay.
and he didn't exist.
Wow.
So yeah, wow. So that was, that was I was expecting to basically never hear from this fake person ever again.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew in my gut, and I had a little bit of very circumstantial evidence to suggest I knew who it was, but not enough to prove anything at this point. And so I just thought that'll be the end of it. He'll go into the night and go on, oh damn, I got caught, and that'll be the end of it.
Yep.
Oh no, this is where the wild ride begins.
Oh, wait, that's not even the wild ride. Oh my god,
no,
I'm excited.
No, it's not.
Okay.
All right. So he then gets in contact with Best Coast Pairings, and basically says, "Hey," and I don't think he knows that I work for Best Coast Pairings.
Can I speak to the manager, please? Yes, I'm the manager. That's me.
And so, in a nutshell, he claimed that the events did happen. That I was a privileged white person. So he's pretending to be a black Aboriginal person at this point, if you haven't followed along. And basically claimed that I was discriminating against him and his community, and I was a racist.
Ooh, okay. That's pretty serious.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm just in case people tune out at this point, I will just jump to the end real quick. I have 100% proof that this guy is fake. These events didn't happen. I'm not a racist. He just is a cheat. All right. Anyway, he then didn't get the response he liked, and he then emails Frontline Gaming. And I'd just like to state that basically the team at Best Coast Pairings and Frontline Gaming were fantastic. So if you are an ITC rep, because it's the first time that anything like this happened to me as an ITC rep, like they've got your back. But they were super professional. They gave him plenty of opportunities to provide information and prove that these events happened. He then continued to claim that not only I was racist, but also the ITC and Best Coast Pairings and everyone was racist, and said he was going to. So he emailed Frontline Gaming saying this, CC'd Best Coast Pairings, and at the bottom said he was blind carbon copying, i.e., no one could see who he was actually including in the email, a number of investors, media outlets, and etc. I thought he was absolutely full of shit. Turns out, at least Games Workshop Australia were included in that list.
Wow.
Yeah, hence the lawsuit that will be coming. So for what it's worth, some people have asked why I'm bothering with it, because everyone knows that it was fake, and what's the point? Well, my mother is a lawyer, and I was having dinner with her, and she said, "Well, that's." We can get him for that. That's, you can't do that. And I said, yeah, but I don't want you to put the effort in. And she said, no, I'm angry. So yes, my mum, I called my mum, and she's going to come riding in on a steed, and we're going to serve him. It's going to be awesome.
Wow. Number one, I'm sorry that you went through all of that shit. Yeah, that's important.
The community's been fantastic. The community has been fantastic, and that's the big takeaway I took from this.
Yeah. I think everyone's on your side. Go get him. Also just brings the community into disrepute as well, right? It's bullshit. Everyone's got a it's crap. It's crap. It's a whole bunch of drama that we don't need in the community. And and he seems like such an aggressively bad actor that he should be driven out of the community. Oh, dude, are you okay? That's an important question for me. You all right?
I'm fine.
Good.
There was a small window of time where I didn't know who had also been included in this email, and I did have that. It's not nice, to be called a racist when.
But it's also he's minimizing actual So like people do suffer racism, loads, like, and so those should be addressed and concerned, and we should 100%. Listen to it. So like it should be aggressively dealt with, right? Like I completely am on your side.
My other concern is what happened prior to this was a number of events showed up in a rural community, and my immediate reaction at the time was that's awesome. It's great to see 40K getting to different areas of the country, especially areas that hasn't been played much before. And what I really hope doesn't happen is if a rural community, whether it's Australia, another country, wherever, creates some events. I really don't want to see an issue where people just immediately think that it's dodgy. Because of this,
of course, because it's also it ties a stigma to the area as well. Like you feel like if you see anything in the Northern Territories, you're like, okay, now I have to double check to make sure everything's okay. Like, and and especially if they're like new TOs or they're new people trying, they'll fuck a load of stuff up, because people do, and now you got to were they fucking it up, or are they part of this cabal? Not that it's a cabal; it sounds like it's a single individual. But you're right. Bad actors in the community produce so. There's the phrase in there a bad apple. But it's a lot of people just go, "Oh, that's a bad apple." It's like, no, the phrase is a bad apple ruins the bunch.
Ruins the bunch. Yeah.
Yeah. If you keep the bad apple in, it ruins the bunch. So you take the bad apple out. That's an important point, then the bunch is fine. Just wild. So what is the point of this? Some guy, so the point of it was, his intent was intentionally to be the top of the rankings, or for rankings points, right?
Well, the intent is very questionable. I think he was pissed. I won't tell you why, because I'm really trying not to actually name the person, and if I tell you why, it kind of gives it away. But basically, I think it was if I can't play with these toys, you can't play with these toys kind of approach.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. Okay. Listen. Number one, I hope you're okay. Number two, sounds shit. But again, fringe case. So anyone who's just tuned in or has been linked to this YouTube video and is like, oh my god, honestly, is not the general consensus of Warhammer around the world. However, talking about bad apples and pieces of shit. My news, segue, just to kind of round the show off. 2021, I'm trying really hard, Diff, to be I'm super passionate about the community, just like you are, super passionate. And so, when I see something that's bad, I'm like, and I'm not very sometimes I'm not overly constructive about something. So, the recent AOS FAQ, I feel like I've done a good job of being constructive about my criticisms, as opposed to just being like, this sucks, you suck, sort of thing, which is really important to me as a person. Malcador, thanks for subscribing. However, unfortunately, not unfortunately, because I sometimes often do, I've been on Dave from Mini Wargaming's YouTube channel, or his kind of show where he hosts the Forge of Chaos or something like that. Super lovely bloke, is my point. Dave and Matt, I've had nothing but great interactions with. Yeah, Dave especially is just a very, very nice man, and every conversation I've ever had with him has been lovely. He's super lovely. But he had this guy on, and I've never experienced it. And Josh, I'm not asking you to jump in with this at all. This is a me thing. I watched this guy called Adam Lyons from the Knights of the Gaming Table last night. And again, 2021 Rob doesn't want to be this guy. But fuck, what a piece of shit. I spent I spent 30 minutes listening to him. I was like, he lied a lot about how Games Workshop set up Warhammer community and everything else, and I was like, well, that's just not true. And then I was like, fuck, I can't listen to a single word you're saying. That's my only drama from today. Thinking about bad apples was the only thing that came up, and normally I'd keep my mouth shut, but I couldn't, because it just felt horrible to experience. Watching, again, Dave, whatever you think of Mini Wargaming's content or anything else, I think he's a really nice bloke who loves Warhammer. And I'd fight on a mat about that. I think that's really important. And then just listen to someone, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, you fucking suck. So if you guys want to go listen to it and make up your own mind, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Did you call him out? I've just called him out right now. Called him out now.
I'm pretty sure He unequivocally called him out.
Yeah. Like, fucking, what an awful person. Anyway, that's kind of... I don't know if I should say it. I was like, told you before the show, I was like, I don't know if I should say this. And I was like, fucking whatever. But that's not really the point.
I also said, I don't know if I should say this, but hey, everyone in Australia is asleep, right? So...
Did you call him out at the time? Yeah, I called him out at the time. I left him a comment on the video. I was like, this guy's awful. So I'm really upfront about how much this is important to me to say. I can't sleep on. You can't sleep on this heat, mate. I'm not going to sleep on it. I don't know what that means. Anyway, let's do some positives. You got more events coming up?
Yeah. So I personally am not specifically involved in the stream, but I will be helping out with a whole bunch of the behind the scenes stuff, like I tend to do. But the Elvin Open is coming up this weekend, and the Art of War Down Under lads Adam will be commentating. I'm pretty sure the whole thing, maybe, I don't know. He's a madman. But him and Paul Murphy will be rocking it. No doubt.
Open.
The Open. But a bunch of Australians from Art of War Down Under will be streaming some of the games. For those who aren't familiar with the format, it's insane and it's awesome and I absolutely love it. And I'm trying to work out if we can make this more of a thing just throughout the year. I'm happy for it to consistently be charity based, but I just love the idea. So a person writes a list. They play round one against someone local. Okay, so me and Adam might play each other. We stream our game. Our list wins. Rob and one of his mates both write their lists. They play the game. They stream it. One list wins. The list goes on to someone else. So some people in the US or some people in wherever. All right. They then play the list that won, which is just really cool. Because you're getting to see some really obscure lists get written, and then you're forcing someone else on the other side of the planet to play a list that they're not familiar with and stream it. It's just, I think it's interesting. It's not as if I'm expecting this to be a new tournament format, but I think from a content perspective, and I'm a big fan of 40K content, in case you were unaware, I think it's good. I think it's just an awesome format.
Yeah.
Get around it.
As long as big love, Bobbin. Thanks DJ Batman for subscribing and anyone who subscribed today. It's going to happen this weekend. We'll see how it works. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see all the guys. It's going to be some hard work behind the scenes. So big love to everyone who's trying to make that work behind the scenes. I think that's going to be important. I still have to help Val right now after the show do his Nightbot lists, which he's like, how do I do that? And I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'll do that for you. So it really is a collection. Lists. Yeah, okay. No. Yeah. He's just It's not complicated, but he's like, how do I do this? I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, that's fine. And then I've got to do I've got to do a document for Neil for equipment he needs. It's a whole day of me just helping other streamers out is my day today. So exciting. So I hope the weekend goes really well. Yeah. By the way, everyone, don't forget tonight, obviously, we've got the 40K show where we're going to be talking about Death Guard units, which is super exciting. Just wanted to get that out there.
Apparently, they're pretty good.
Apparently, I'm excited to talk about it tonight and also find out what Tom and Nick's stonks are this week. I think that's going to be fun. So, and do I appear on the Open? I don't think I'm doing anything for the Open, but then I'm not 100% certain. I did talk about maybe giving Adam a game off, otherwise he might die. Because I think that might be quite important. Maybe to keep Adam alive.
He's insane. He's insane.
Yeah. Right, so anyway, you got any shout-outs before we head out, Diff?
Shout-outs, mate. I'd be here all day. But look, I'll give a shout-out to a couple of my mates. So Matt Morrisoli took out number 1 at the big event just gone by. He's been rocking it. You can find his lists on Goonhammer, as well as Best Coast Pairings. The other man I want to shout out to is Liam Hackett, another good lad. He came second at that big event, won Australian Masters, and is the number one ranked South Pacific, but Australia, ITC player. Which it's 2020 ITC season, so like you can kind of just put that to the side and say meh. But he was also number one on Down Under pairings for the previous season, so like he's a consistent player. Both them played Chaos at these big events.
Chaos won, right?
I don't think. Yeah, came first and then second and third was Grey Knights. So wonky Australian meta.
Don't do that. It works for both systems. It just seems around 40k. Like, never makes any sense what gets to the top. Like, never one time.
Oh, we are not seeing the boogeyman of Marines really at the pointy end. And the main reason we're not seeing it is because our good players playing factions that they like playing, and they're beating those Marine lists, and they're not getting to the top.
Okay.
So you heard it here first. Good players win regardless what they play.
Oh, it's a big shocker. We'll end the show on that. That's a big one. Thanks to Diffey, and I'll make sure you include in the show notes all the things that we did talk about previously, so you guys can check that out if you listen to the podcast, and I appreciate if you do. Please stay hydrated, and thanks to everyone for joining me live. Can't tell you how much I appreciate trying to get the numbers up so we can hit partner, which is really exciting. So if you are listening to the podcast or you're watching back on YouTube video, you can ever open it up midday or on the Monday or Thursday show. Just keep those numbers high. That'd be great. Thank you so much. If we get partner, we'll get more emotes. Not saying that then they're going to be like Warhammer Stonk related, but they probably will be. Also, keep your ears out for the Warhammer Stonks website coming soon from me and Diffey. Not sure what that is, but it'll be soon.
I'm sure we can make it work.
Yeah. Right, listen, you're all great. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to join us later. It'll be super fun to see you. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.